Good evening and a warm welcome to Soul Television Evening News. My name is Nena Igwe. Making headlines, building collapse at Alex Ekweme Federal University in Ndufu Alike leaves hostel students stranded. Troops rescue abducted minor in Plateau State. Plus, a former president of Democratic Republic of Congo faces trial for treason. Now the news in full. The state government has officially received the corpses of 11 indigents brutally murdered during their town hall meeting in Omoji, Orumba South, local government area of Anambra State, at the Alex Ekweme Federal Teaching Hospital, Feta-1, Abakaliki. This follows a warrant to bury permit issued on 22nd day of July 2025 at the Court of Corona Oka in Anambra State, even as investigations continue to uncover the circumstances surrounding their death. Osondu Onguta has more to tell us.
Receiving their remains on behalf of the state government, the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Moses Ekuma, revealed that out of 11 victims, 5 were from Ikwo local government area, 5 from Izi and Ebonyi local government areas, and 1 from Oriozo in Ezanot local government area. Dr. Ekuma commended the effort of Governor Francis Nwifuru in ensuring that perpetrators are brought to justice.
That felt condolences to the families of the victims, and that investigations are still on to unravel the cause of the death of our brothers. For the family of the disease, for all of us Ebonyans, for all the relatives and friends of the disease.
The Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, Chief Ikowa Omebe, expressed sorrow over the incident, urging the people of Ebonyi to remain calm, especially the bereaved families, reassuring them that the state government is dedicated to ensuring that justice prevails.
It is really a great loss to the families, to the entire Ebonyi and the Nigerian people in general, who want on behalf of the state government to extend our sympathy to the respective families. I pray that something like this will never happen again. I want to really thank our leader, the governor, for the able way he has been handling the matter. We're really not happy as a people, but we do not have choices.
Others, including the President General of Ebonyi Indigents in Anambra State, Chief Moses Ofoke, along with the Managing Director of Special Anti-Touting Squad in Anambra State, Mr. Monday Onwe, and one of the survivors of the deadly attack, Mr. Augustine Udum, shared their deep sorrow over the tragic loss.
I handed the paper over to the Commissioner for Health. So I thank the Governor, His Excellency, for his response. Right from the day nothing happened, he has not been addressed, has been not been sleeping. Since then he has been calling, he has been trying all his possible.
I want to thank the Governor of Ebonyi State for their efforts so far. I also console the bereaved, so they should take act, because what happened has happened, and we all of us that are here are not happy.
On behalf of the Hospital Management Board, the chairman of the Medical Advisory Committee, Dr. Uchenna Nwaedo, highlighted Governor Nwifuru's commitment to uncovering the truth behind those deaths and announced that the corpses would be placed in the hospital mortuary and treated free of charge, courtesy of Governor Francis Nwifuru.
Management of Alex Ekweme Federal Hospital Abakaliki is ready to ensure that they are well preserved without any charge, and that everything needed to get them well preserved will be provided by the hospital as a way of supporting the efforts of our dear Governor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Peter Francis Nwifuru.
Meanwhile, Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation would continue to keep you updated as a result of investigations on the deaths and other matters therein unfold. Osondu Nguta, Salt TV News.
The state governor, Chief Francis Nwifuru, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to harnessing hidden talents in various institutions of learning through sports development. Governor Nwifuru, represented by his deputy, Princess Patricia Obilar, gave the reaffirmation at the grand finale of Basic School Sports Competition organized by Ebonyi State Universal Basic Education Board at Pa Ngeloruta Township Stadium, Abakaliki. Our reporter Douglas Wanko has the detail.
The state governor, Chief Francis Nwifuru, appreciated the executive chairman and board members especially the Directorate of Sports, for organizing the sports competition, which he said would sharpen children's brains and enhance their assimilation process. The governor assured to continually provide enabling environment for sustainable sports development initiatives in the state and commended the Commissioner for Education, Primary and Secondary, and that of Youth and Sports Development for their commitment towards promoting sports development in the state.
We all know that sports brings about peace. We all know as well that sports brings about unity. If you look at these three things, they are all encompassed in our People's Charter of Needs. And that is why when you come to Ebonyi State, we are like one family. Every time we celebrate, look at today again, we are all together as one family to witness our children. And I say congratulations to them.
The grand final football competition, kicked off by the governor's representative, featured a thrilling match between Ebonyi North and Ebonyi Central Zones teams, during which Ebonyi North team emerged the overall winner after a penalty shootout. The executive chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, Mrs. Patience Ogodo, and the permanent secretary of the board, Dr. Ngozi Nwode, thanked the state governor, Chief Francis Nwifuru, and his wife, Mrs. Uzomaka Nwifuru, for their unconditional love for youth and sports development, and they expressed their commitment to always implement their lofty programs and policies towards full actualization of the youth and sports components of the People's Charter of Needs policy in the state.
It is a period of excitement and positive interaction. It is a time for competitors from parts of the state to interact with their fellow students, pupils, and teachers other than those from their own locality.
We really appreciate your willingness to ensure the success of this program. We cannot thank you enough. Our prayer is that the good Lord, who desires good things, will continue to keep you, continue to protect you, continue to lead you high.
In their goodwill messages, the Commissioner for Education, Primary and Secondary, Dr. Donatus Elang, and his youth and sport development counterpart, Prince Richard Idike, among others, scored high the sterling leadership qualities of the state governor, Chief Francis Nwifuru, and expressed optimism that the sports program would go a long way in harnessing the hidden talents of the children.
Excellency, a sports competition of this kind, organized by Ebonyi State Universal Basic Education Board.
My work as a goodwill message is to encourage the organizers of this competition. It hasn't been like this for a long time in the country. And under the leadership of Ebonyi, the Right Honorable Builder Francis Ogunleye, we are, returning back sports what it used to be before now.
The event was attended by prominent government officials, including the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Chief Moses Odonwa, among others. I am Douglas Wankwo.
Students lodge in front of Alex Ekweme Federal University in Dufali-Kiko AE49 gate called Pentagon Lodge has collapsed. The State Commissioner for Capital City Development, Chief Sunday Inyema, who was on an on-the-spot assessment at the scene of the building collapse, directed that all the students residing within the Pentagon Lodge be evacuated immediately to a more secure and safer place. Chief Inyema also sealed the collapsed lodge to enable the state government to conduct proper investigations and integrity tests on the building. The commissioner, who visited the scene alongside the State Emergency Management Agency, the chairman Ikwo Local Government Council, Chief Sunday Wankwo, and the management of AE49, appealed to them to provide temporary accommodation to the students residing within the lodge until the integrity test of the building is conducted.
Where we got the information of building collapse
of a private hostel within the area of the university, though not directly inside the university, but the entire blocks and rooms in the hostel are occupied by students of AE Funai. And so in the morning when we came, we paid a courtesy call to the Vice Chancellor as represented by the EBBC academics. And then we went to the scene of the incident to do an on-the-spot assessment of what happened. To our shock and greatest chagrin, we saw that what happened was a very big building collapse, and which actually it was God that saved us from the terrible event that would have happened. We are happy that no life was lost in the incident, but we are not taking it lightly. Government is not taking it lightly, because for a very long time government has been complaining about people coming to ensure that they follow due procedure and processes before erecting any building. And from what we saw on ground, facial assessment has shown that whoever handled that building, which we have not known, the investigation will reveal as time goes on, did not apply professional ethics from what we saw. However, I'm not preempting what the integrity test, which we are going to commission very, very shortly, will come up with. But at least from what we saw on ground, it's a clear indication of abuse of substandard, use of substandard material. So we have, as a government, decided to, as an interministerial committee, to ensure that the safety of our young ones, our sons and daughters that are inhabiting those buildings, are secured.
No life was lost to the incident. Now, moving on, the Commissioner for Information, Chief Ikowa Omebe, has reiterated his renewed commitment to bolster the image and mission of the ministry. Chief Omebe, who stated this during the maiden edition of the management meeting with State, emphasized the importance of projecting the positives of the state and the policies of Governor Francis Nwifur's administration to a global audience. Osondu Onguta completes the story.
Chief Ikowa Omebe emphasized that the vision of the state is clear and its mission critical, noted that it is not just for the ministry, but for the future of the state, and called on the management and staff to join hands with him to achieve the core mandate. The commissioner also spoke on the need for collaboration within the ministry, assuring of his commitment to an open door policy, promoting inclusive governance to enhance transparency and engagement, noting that by fostering teamwork and support, the ministry could effectively communicate policies and achievements of the government to the entire globe.
Their cooperation is very important. Information is power, and accessibility is like a grease or ultimate you add to the wheels of progress in terms of governance. And I enjoin all of us to make yourself available as much as possible. I'm impressed with the caliber of principal officers I'm meeting in the ministry. For you also to have been promoted to this level to occupy these sensitive positions that makes you a principal officer of the Ministry of a very sensitive ministry as that of information. It is not a joke. That shows also that you've been able to keep a very wonderful record that earned you these positions. So it is a call for us to discuss a way forward, because I believe in teamwork.
The permanent secretary of the ministry, Mrs. Patricia Nwabashi, who spoke on behalf of other management staff, expressed eagerness to contribute to the ministry's goals.
We are assuring you of our commitment and cooperation. We will not disappoint you. Anytime you call on us, we will respond. Our goal is to move the ministry to a greater height. And so we are here for you. We are at your service.
She emphasized that the renewed commitment of the commissioner would impact the dissemination of information and the public's perception of the state's progress. Osondo Nguta, Salt TV News.
The Ebonyi State Broadcasting Corporation, EBBC Abakaliki, is poised to render effective services like its contemporaries in the country. This was the outcome of a maiden meeting between the corporation's management and the recently constituted governing board. The report.
The Director General of EBBC, Comrade Tony Wishi, described the station as having the latest and functional equipments capable of fulfilling all broadcasting requirements in any standard broadcast outfit.
The board met and I took them around the facilities of the Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation, and they are very, very happy. They are very happy with their productions, the FM station, and then the television, our almighty television. They have come to see that Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation, Salt TV, has the best television east of the Niger. We are operating on HD, and there is no other stations that can equate us in terms of equipment that we are operating with. So our station is the best, and the output is the best too, and they appreciated it.
Comrade Muji thanked the state governor, Chief Francis Nwifuru, for the appointment of board members, majority of who are media professionals, a situation he said will remain promotive of the activities in the corporation, especially improvements in administration and content.
We've always been there. We are, online. We are online. You don't need to be at home to watch us. So the click of a finger, you see us. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. And we are on Start Times, so everybody at home is at liberty to watch us, and we will soon embark on an aggressive campaign to make people to come back to watch television, because after a very long time that Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation was not, TV was not on, people tend to have, abandoned the issue of television. But now that we have come in full force, they should come back and enjoy our local content.
The chairman of EBBC Governing Board, Mr. Donatus Owo, expressed confidence that the board will play effective ancillary roles to the management of the corporation, and thanked the governor, Chief Francis Nwifuru, describing him as the first governor to align with professionalism in his appointment of government board members. Mr. Owo said staff of EBBC and the viewing public would experience a more qualitative service given the caliber of equipments at the corporation service. He said the board will sustain the government's emphasis on professionalism by inculcating stronger work ethics according to the latest global practices.
It is the first time in this establishment that a governor decided to align with professionalism in what Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation is doing. If you recall, that this is the first time a staff of Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation is becoming the DG. It is the first time somebody who grew from Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation also was appointed to become chairman of the governing board. In other words, the governor tried to bring in people who are experienced, who have knowledge of the operations of this place. The truth is that Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation, there is an evolution. If you're outside, you won't know what EBBC has. We've gone round. I know how it was when I left here as Chief Press Secretary, and now that I am here now. A lot of the place has been fully digitized. As in, if you are watching the television, you can pick a pin. It's as clean as that.
Major highlights included conducting the governing board members around the facilities. Kamachima, Salt TV News.
In the course of achieving the USAID's targets to end HIV/AIDS by 2030 in Nigeria and the recent drastic reduction in support from international donors, Ebonyi State has been selected among 6 pilot states for the first phase of the sustainability roadmap on the prevalence of HIV/AIDS in the country. This was made known at the opening of a 3-day stakeholders engagement and ownership of HIV, TB, and malaria responses organized by the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, as funded by Global Fund and UN AIDS through EBBC and State Ministry of Health in Abakaliki. The report.
The Director of Policy, Planning and Stakeholders Coordination for the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, Abuja, Mr. Daniel Ndukwe, said they were in Ebonyi State to roll out the sustainability agenda and new way of doing business, which were fast-tracked by the policy change and change in funding landscape from the United States government. He said Ebonyi State needed to prioritize and initiate a homegrown response to HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria, and also engage the government structures in the state to achieve what the partners have been doing over the years.
We want to work together with the state government to identify relevant ministries, departments and agencies of government that can do this work.
On the readiness of the state government, the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Moses Ekuma, said that Ebonyi State was fully ready to take ownership of HIV, tuberculosis and malaria treatment and also come up with other ways to sustain the fight against these diseases using the state resources.
We are now looking at other ways we are going to sustain the fight against HIV and tuberculosis using our own resources. So that is why we call meeting of all the stakeholders.
The Executive Secretary of the State Agency for the Control of AIDS, EBBC, Prince Chibueze Iteshi, said that with the withdrawal of support fund from some donor agencies, the federal government through NACA came up with a sustainability roadmap project, which is geared towards transiting from partner-driven program to government ownership-driven programs by owning the responsibility of those affected by these diseases.
It is to create that government awareness to see how government can beef up funding, both implementation, budgetary aspect of it, and as well capacity building.
He expressed optimism that a lot of resources would be invested by the state government to achieve the World Health Organization global aim of eliminating HIV, TB and malaria by year 2030, as Ebonyi State currently has recorded about 18,000 cases of people living with HIV/AIDS. Mr. Iteshi said that HIV is real and people should desist from careless habits and behaviors and embrace preventive measures. Representing Governor Francis Nwifuru, the Chief of Staff Ebonyi State Government, Professor Emmanuel Echiego, assured partners that the state was ready to own the fight.
His health-friendly government has done a lot in the health sector. I can assure you that he will come up to the task in ensuring that whatever intervention is being brought in the area of these three major diseases, whatever intervention he is going to ensure that it is properly carried out with adequate funding.
Also present were top government functionaries, including the Director General, Ebonyi Broadcasting Corporation, EBBC, Comrade Tony Mwizi, and various stakeholders in the health sector. I am Angela Ekuma.
We'll take a short break. At this point, we'll be back in the jiffy. Please stay. Many thanks for staying tuned. The Ogun State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Adijat Adelie, says the state has taken custody of a 2-year-old baby abandoned at Shire Dairy Market in Ikaro, Yewa South local government area of the state. It was learnt that the baby was found by a woman last week and handed over to the police. Details.
The woman alleged that the baby went missing after officials from the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development intervened, urging well-meaning members of the society to help her find the child. The commissioner, while reacting, said the baby was in good condition and was legally taken into protective custody by the ministry after due documentation by the police. She made the assertion while addressing journalists in Abeokuta, saying that the woman's actions were an attempt to emotionally blackmail the government government and mislead the public. Adeleye declared that the baby now belongs to Governor Dapo Abiodun, whom she described as the father of all rescued babies in the state until adoption. She maintained that while there were laid down procedures and guidelines for adoption in the state, no orphanage or individual had the right to put a child up for adoption without approval from the ministry. She warned that anyone found doing so would be charged with adoption and made to face the full weight of the law.
Troops of the 3 Division and Operation Safe Haven of the Nigerian Army have rescued a minor during military operations in the Riyom area of Plateau State. This was disclosed in a statement on Friday by the spokesman of Operation Safe Haven, Major Samson Zakam. Details.
Preliminary investigation revealed that the minor had been sold 3 years ago by his uncle, who is currently at large. The army said the boy had since been handed over to the councillor representing Zanko Ward in the Lantang North local government area of the state for onward reunification with his family. The operation, which occurred in the early hours of July 24, saw troops engage the criminals in a fighting, forcing them to flee. The recovered weapon and ammunition are in custody for further action, while troops are currently on the trail of the fleeing bandits. Troops of 3 Division Operation Safe Haven has continued to make exploits and remain decisive in the fight against criminal elements whose activities must be tracked and terminated in the interest of national security.
The treason trial of the former president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has begun in a military court in the capital, Kinshasa. He also faces other charges such as murder linked to his alleged support for M23 rebels who control a large part of the mineral-rich east of the country. He denies the charges and did not appear at the hearing. Detail.
Joseph Kabila, who denied the charges, did not even appear at the hearing, but his successor, President Felix Tshisekedi, has accused him of being the brains behind the rebels. The former president has rejected the case as arbitrary and said the court were being used as an instrument of oppression. A ceasefire deal between the rebels and the government was agreed last week, but fighting has continued. Kabila had been living outside the country for 2 years, but arrived in the rebel-held city of Goma in eastern DR Congo from self-imposed exile in South Africa in May. The UN and several Western countries have accused neighboring Rwanda of backing the M23 and sending thousands of its soldiers into DR Congo, but Kigali denies the charges, saying it is acting to stop the conflict from spilling over onto its territory. Ahead of the trial, Ferdinand Kambere, a close ally of Kabila who served in his now-banned PPRD party, accused the government of double standards. He said the trial was a way to exclude Kabila from the country's politics.
Thailand's leader has warned that clashes between Thailand and Cambodia, which have killed at least 16 people and displaced tens of thousands in both countries, could move towards war. Acting Prime Minister Phuntham Wachayachai said the fighting now includes heavy weapons and has spread to 12 locations along the border. Detail.
Thailand also accused Cambodia of firing into civilian areas and evacuated all villages deemed to be within the radius of its rocket, while Cambodia on its part is accusing Thailand of using cluster munitions. Cluster munitions are banned in much of the world because of their indiscriminate effect on civilian populations. Thailand has not responded to the allegations. Meanwhile, Thailand's foreign minister has said that there was no need for third-party mediation in the conflict, even as global leaders appealed for an immediate ceasefire. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who chairs the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, had earlier offered to facilitate talks between the two countries. But Thai Foreign Ministry spokesman Nkomaj Balankura told Reuters that the situation must be solved through bilateral means, adding that Phnom Penh must stop its offensive move.
And with that story, we end the news. But before we go, a quick look at the major stories. Students lodge in front of Alex Ekweme Federal University in Dufali Iko AA49 gate called Pentagon Lodge has collapsed. Troops of the 3 Division in Operation Safe Haven of the Nigerian Army have rescued a miner during military operations in the Riyam area of Plateau State. The treason trial of the former president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has begun in the military court in the capital, Kinshasa. That does it on the news tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Nena Igwe.